Hey, Andre, take us back to 2013 when you were available to, well, you decided to come to the Warriors. We kind of know the story. We know you could have gotten more money elsewhere. What attracted you to the Warriors?
Um, I think I've spoken to this a few times.
Mm-hmm.
I just played against the Warriors in the playoffs, and when you play in the playoffs, you get to know a team very well, everything about them. And yes, Andre. And I think what you find is, what was able to observe is the joy they had playing for Mark Jackson. And that was year 9 for me. Yeah, that was my ninth season I just finished. And so going into 10th year free agency and um, you know, you don't know when the end is going to be, especially 10 years. The average is like 3.5 now. And so for me, it was just like I want to get that joy back of playing basketball. I just come off a great series. I enjoyed the atmosphere in the arena. Like, as an opponent, you enjoy the atmosphere of a opposing team. Like that speaks volumes. Um, Obviously I had been doing some stuff in the tech space as well. So the area was attractive to me. And so it was like perfect timing. And then, we saw what Steph did. He and I spent a little bit of time together 3 years prior in the World Championships. And then I got to play against Klay a lot in that series. You matched up. He was a young pup. So I beat him up a little bit, but I knew like, oh, he's right there. So it was all those things came into play. And it was just, perfect timing, like I said, on and off the court. Uh, but that atmosphere I just played in that playoff series, I decided to, be there 41 times a year.
Andre, what's up? It's Anthony Slater. Just kind of going along those lines. I mean, you mentioned it, you're year 9, 10 when you joined the Warriors. Almost sounds like you were maybe thinking it was that later stage of the career. Can you believe that materialized into 4 championships, retired jersey, all that, and what came after it?
Yeah, I remember my press conference like it was yesterday. I remember what I had on. I remember the questions. I remember the responses. And, I'm on like second tier free agency, we wait on Dwight Howard. And so, I'm not thinking that it's going to be headline news from the press conference nationally, maybe just locally. But I remember one of the answers said, you were not that far away, just seeing what I saw. It took the Spurs to 6 games and they're all close games. Steph was coming into his own. And, I said, I use the word championships. And I never been for outside the second round. Neither had the Warriors, since the 70s or how long it had been. Um, and we're fresh off that, not one, not two, not three. So you're careful with how you're speaking towards it. And so I didn't know because I'd never been there, but I don't know. I don't speak too far out like that with those lofty goals. And it was just, I don't know, intuition playing basketball for quite some time. And I didn't think it would be 4. I didn't think it would be, retirement. And so it was just, I guess like the stars were just aligned from what I said and what actually happened.
What does the retirement mean to you?
It's funny because I was just with Zaza Pachulia, who sits on the board, the Warriors board, and we had an amazing conversation. And he was asking me how I felt about it. And I was like, Zaza, I don't know. I haven't even had a chance to think about it. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, you know me, like, all right, you accomplished a championship, you celebrate for a little bit, and it was like, what's next? And we've had so much success. We haven't been able to um properly like bask in that success. We haven't been able to enjoy it because now we're on to like bigger and better things. Not better. We're on to like what's next in our careers. And it's not bigger and better because that's the biggest and the best. But what I'm doing right now, I got 2 full-time jobs. I got a 17-year-old taller than me. He's trying to get there. Like I'm just spread so thin that I haven't been able to like properly reflect. And so, but what what I've been doing on the side, what the Warriors team has set up, they've done something really special, and it's just going. I think it's going to blow folks out the water. Like this thing is, and then it kind of may help me reflect. I'm like, oh, just talking through it, still not properly like I would like to, but I think it speaks to the level that, Joe and Peter, how they want to continue to create this amazing space for athletes to play at their highest level and properly be um, praised for their work and success within the organization. So I'm still trying to figure out that answer. Like I said, I just came from a meeting. I'm headed to another meeting. Our TGL's tonight, so I'm part of one of the teams, and we're getting ready for opening night. So my mind's there.
Morning, Andre. It's Janie McCauley from Associated Press. Thanks for doing this and congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. How much, when you look back and reflect, how much pride do you take in all the, different roles you had? And, from defensive stopper to starting to six man to being such a mentor later in your career for some of this game's greatest stars now, and just how you were able to do a little bit of everything and help in so many ways.
Yeah, and thank you for that. Those a lot of those things go unnoticed. So to kind of go back to Anthony's question in terms of like, how do we get here? I think the level of basketball IQ and knowledge from the fan base. I think probably more than anything, if I'm being completely honest, the fans probably played the biggest role in this. I think they voiced their appreciation of me, and I think the Bay Area is innovative, and they understand like you need everything to be functioning at a high level to be successful and to have longevity and to be able to scale. And so those are probably that's when I'm able to appreciate, everything that we've been able to accomplish is in public. Right now I got my head down and I'm working, but anywhere I go in the Bay, like I can go grab some pancakes or uh, people are surprised that I might go to buy a jacket at Patagonia or anything. Like, I'm moving around like a regular person, but I constantly get stopped by folks and they say, you really help me raise my children in terms of like bringing a proper approach to whatever it is that you do, respecting what you do, doing it at a high level, teamwork, discipline, sacrifice is probably the biggest thing that they use in regards to me. But sometimes less is more, and but knowing when to be ready for the big moments, and a lot of that is really good vets, which you can take for granted if you don't understand, how professional sports can work because you're not just competing against the other team. Sometimes you compete against your own team. We see coaches get fired all the time. It just happened in football this past weekend. We obviously know about the Mike Brown situation, but I had really good vets, and they helped me see early on that if you don't have the right guidance, it can derail your career. So like the Aaron McKees, Kevin Ollie's, you know, one thing that was good for me being a late bloomer is I had appreciation for, being in the NBA because I didn't know that I would make it. And so and I followed guys that were around a lot who weren't the most talented. They were doing something right. And those guys did all the little things right. So it just helped me get the right foundation and have a proper understanding for, those small things get you over the edge or, past the more talented folks.
And does that mean a great deal to you, Andre, when maybe every day or whenever you're out and about, you do get stopped? And you said how, a lot of these things do go unnoticed, but maybe fans did notice you doing all the little things. And that has to mean a lot to you, being retired and people thanking you for influencing how they're raising their children.
Yeah, I get asked to come back a lot, which throws me off because, like I said, I'm in goal mode right now. So, like, I'm full steam ahead. And so I'm approaching everything like I did on the court. So my mind's not even in like, I'm not even thinking I'm Andre Iguodala, the basketball player. So it kind of, when I get stopped, I'm used to getting stopped a lot, but now it throws me off because I'm like, I don't play basketball anymore. Like, I'm just a normal venture capitalist and I run the Players Association. So I got work to do. So it throws me off. So it throws off interactions sometimes. And I don't mean it for it to come off that way. It's just where my mind is. But, um, after so long, you know who's who. You can see a good fan versus a bad fan from a mile away. And so I'm able to see like, okay, this is a, decent human being, and this is a genuine interaction. And I think the Bay, the folks that I'm running to in the Bay are, of high value and morals. And so they're all 99% are really good interactions. And you walk away feeling a little bit better about yourself, actually, because you realize it's bigger than you. And that's, take that with my work every day at the Players Association, where I'm trying to get the guys to understand, like, it's actually bigger than us, and why do we want a equity stake in the game, is because, like, we're actually paving the way for the next group, and we have this duty and responsibility to the game. And if we don't, then the game will never be able to held to the standards that, the Michael Jordans, the Kobe Bryants, the Oscar Robinsons, Jerry West, go on and on and on. LeBron, Steph's have been able to do. So we got to continue that trend. But that's what gets me in that mind, is the interactions that I'm having with how we're actually changing lives.
Thank you.
What's it? I mean, you're probably the first of 5 of these, right? I mean, is that interesting to you or cool to you? I mean, like, you're basically going to have your whole lineup from the dynasty probably retired over the course of the next decade or so.
Yeah, I'm just the oldest. So it's, Mark Jackson's favorite line was, Father Time is undefeated. And so that, it worked to my benefit in terms of being the first one. But just preparing myself for like interviews and, properly being ready, February 23rd is, I think I've been able to reflect on those guys. Like, without those guys, I wouldn't be in this position. Like, I think they understand how important I was, but obviously Steph, but Klay and Draymond just being so unique in who they are. It's just a powerful formula. It'd be really hard to duplicate. You've seen everyone's trying to duplicate it now, and it's kind of throwing basketball off, because they're one-on-ones, all of them. And then obviously, KD's just from another planet. Like, just the beauty in him as a human being, and his stature and what he does with the basketball is an incredible thing too. So, yeah, really, really, really excited to share the moment with those guys.
I know you were at the Klay return game, and I believe your jersey retirement is a Mavericks game. I'm just curious, how you're just viewing this kind of later stage as you're watching it from afar, from an interesting position, obviously with the PA, and just seeing Klay in a Mavericks jersey, seeing what stage Steph and this Warriors team's at. What's kind of your perspective on all that?
Well, I was thinking about that earlier, in terms of, people don't understand how hard it is to have success. People understand how hard it is to get to the NBA, period. Like, I think, Raymond spoke to it. Like, how many guys play in the NBA, period, like, ever? And then how many guys go to the playoffs? And how many guys get to the second round? That whole thing. And then how many win one? And then you're lucky to win one. Got to get lucky to win two. And so to win four, and it was for so long, because we got there 5 times in a row. When you grow up in that, because a lot of them were new basketball fans as well. We had a lot of folks where this was their introduction to basketball. It was like the Vince Carter effect in Canada, and we had a similar effect on folks as well. So no one's seen the realities of professional sports. Like, this isn't normal. And so I look at it from that perspective, because, I came from the other end of the spectrum, where winning wasn't a priority to an organization that I had been a part of prior to. And I still was able to, make an all-star team, play in the Olympics. And so I seen the good, the bad, and the ugly with the league. But you can have the best run organization and still not win. But when sometimes perception can become people's realities, but their realities aren't real. And so you can't win a championship every single year, and like I just said, this Mark Jackson's favorite line was, other time it's undefeated. You know, everything must come to an end. And you got to get lucky too. I'm not saying that to say that, you know, they're at their end, but at some point it will be there. But just continue to enjoy the game. That's my main thing. Like, enjoy the game, and you know, be a true fan in the ups and the downs and the in-betweens. You know, folks are trying to figure it out. Because at the end of the day, like, everyone wants to win. You know, I know Steph wants to win. I know Klay wants to win. I know Draymond wants to win. Steve wants to win. And as much as people try to pinpoint me disagreeing with Joe wants to win more than anybody. And I think that's what, you know, things like that put you over the top. Because you got some owners who we see a sell of a team after they just won a championship, you know?
Yeah.
And so when you put things in proper perspective, like, we got a great group. We've had a great group. And Joe's a part of that group, and he wants to win. So, you know, when you got someone who has, like, he's hungry to win, you know, you got to put that in proper perspective as well.
All right. I told Andre I wouldn't keep him too long. We got two more quickly.
I got one, and it could be my last one. You were at the Klay, as I said, the Klay, you know, return night. I was just, you know, what was that night like? And as you look forward to, you know, your jersey retirement, like, are you ready? I know you were mentioning you're so busy, but, like, you know, did it feel like a celebration, the Klay return night? And are you ready to have like 9 of these basically over the next decade?
So the Klay thing was incredible, you know, and you know, like, you know, I'm understanding business, and, you know, I understand how foundations work, and I understand how goodwill works, public perception. I understand how all that works. And things can be for show. But I mean, when I saw that, you know, I wasn't blown away, but I was blown away because they just went over the top with it. They did a phenomenal job. Um, um, and I think, you know, Joe, Peter, the entire group, they understand how special this was, and they want to give proper respects to it, and they don't have to. And the fans, you know, we all owe it to the fans, not just ownership, but the players as well. And you see, I don't know. I don't know if I should say this, but I mean, it's there. You see it plain in sight. I didn't see this coming. I didn't know it was coming, but the Warriors played Dallas. And that was a beautiful thing. And it's going to be duplicated by smart ownership groups on how to properly, you know, pay respects to players who have placed a stamp on the franchise. I think Mark did it with Dirk. But when you see the hiring of Rick Welts by Dallas, like, I did not see that coming. But I also see, you know, like, teams following models that are working on and off the court. And so I just thought, like, it was beautiful. It speaks volumes to, you know, all the players feel like that about Klay. I know it's tough in negotiations. I know it's tough, you know, trades, and, you know, all the, you know, NBA's forward leading on social media. So all the noise and nonsense that gets thrown in between that can, you know, sometimes business can become personal, but end of the day, we did some special things. And, you know, back in the old days, they say they can never take it from us. You know, I think as players, you know, we're more forward thinking with, you know, what we want to do after. But all of those things that we accomplished become a part of our DNA, and it becomes a standard in how we show up in whatever we do going forward.
Dre, when you first came to the Warriors, really, when you first came to the league, rather, nobody was looking at the Warriors. Here you are a few years into the league now, and you make this decision not just to come to the Warriors, but again, you know, to come to the Warriors when you could have gone someplace else. Do you think the league, the guys around the league, kind of noticed that kind of thing, that kind of move?
Well, I was the first one to, I'll take this one. You know, I never want to gloat. Like, I can assess my career, so I don't need any validation, but I'm taking this one. I think I was the first one to realize how I can extend my career playing with Steph Curry. So that just became like, now people were realizing, like, when you have a special talent, you know, you might be able to take, Dante DiVincenzo, we use him as our latest example. But like either resurrecting the career, it's just for me, I wouldn't say resurrecting, but kind of extending, or free agency period may not be the right one for you. You might be delayed a year or two, and how you can go play with a player like Steph, a generational talent, and win and learn how to win. And then, all parties understand that. Like, we've never seen that before, where the player's like, all right, I'm gonna take less now, understanding like what's ahead of me if I just go in, a little bit of sacrifice and doing what I got to do, lock in, learn how to win, and then boom, you get a nice payday. I think that's what I'll take from it, and he's the one that we all have to appreciate, I can be honest, and I don't want to hate making headlines because people take it out of position. Like, Kevin Durant is the most talented basketball player I've ever seen. Like, I'm including Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's the best, but talking about talent, like, Kevin Durant is him. So nobody's better than Kevin Durant. But without Stephen Curry, like, nobody's jersey is going in the Raptors. And so, like, for me, I just, just paying proper respects. But, for me, it's, I did my part and I showed up every day to my best ability to support that. And if everyone doesn't come the way they should, none of us are there as well. But just who he stands for, how special he is. We got to look to that more, so our youth can understand, the importance of what sports are really about. We've gotten so selfish about it. And so we need more models like Steph. And the other guys as well, because we understand, him, and we understand our roles and how to make the whole thing work.